morning, everyone. This is Chris around the ATL early on a Friday. Now, I'm going ahead and apologize. I've tried to wait for whoever this is outside here who's been using this blower literally for an hour plus. Okay. And it seems like he stops and then he starts back over. I've already rescheduled a couple of times this morning, but I have to go ahead and get started so I can get done. So if you hear that, nothing I can do about it. I'm sorry, but I did email somebody in the city just now because it's kind of crazy. Anyway, good morning, everyone. So before I get started talking about the Hawks and Raptors, I'm doing a game review today, and I'll explain that a little bit later. I want to say the following. There were a lot of people who say that they're Hawks fans, right? That they were so-called frothing at the mouth the day after the Hawks' first game of the season, which was a loss, right? They were so excited to talk about how they were excited that the Hawks lost the game. First of all, there's people out there who want the Hawks to lose every single game this season. They might not say it out loud, but then they go and say it out loud. And they say specifically, "I told you so," and they're just excited out that they lost, right? And I think that's really interesting. And the reason is, of course, is because they hate Trae Young and they want Trae Young gone. They want to trade Trae Young and all this other stuff, right? So let me say something real clear here before I get started. When you hate something, there is nothing positive that you can say about that thing or person or entity or whatever you want to call it, right? When you hate something. Let me give you an example. Mayonnaise. Now, I don't hate mayonnaise. I don't like mayonnaise. I despise mayonnaise, but I don't hate it. Why? Because there's one instance where I can actually eat mayonnaise. It's on a Whopper from Burger King. That's the only time I can eat mayonnaise. It's hot on the burger. I can eat mayonnaise like that. Okay. I like a Whopper. But in any other case, I can't look at mayonnaise. I can't touch mayonnaise. I can't taste mayonnaise. I can't smell nothing. I've never bought mayonnaise in my life. Never. The last time I ate cold mayonnaise or tasted, I shouldn't say eat, but tasted cold mayonnaise was good 45 years ago, literally. I despise mayonnaise, but I don't hate it. So when you hate something, like I said, there's nothing positive you can say about mayonnaise. I can eat mayonnaise on a Whopper. That's kind of positive, right? I hate cancer, though. I hate cancer. There's nothing positive I can say about cancer. There's no spin, nothing, right? I hate cancer. I talk to people every day who either have cancer or have a loved one who's passed away from cancer. Okay. My dad passed away from cancer. My co-host Jordan Jackson, his mother is dealing with cancer right now. I know a lot of people in regards to cancer. I hate cancer. So when you hate something, there's no forgiveness, there's no spin that you can say that's positive. And so when you have people who say they hate Trae Young and they loathe Trae Young and they hate everything about him, even with all the positives on the other side, doesn't that make it kind of strange for you when you really think about it? When you really think about it. When you really think about it. Because when we go into this game tonight, or this morning from the other night, you have to look at it just from that angle. Because the Hawks team gave up 138 points in a game. Did Trae Young give up 138 points? He gave up 14 points in that game. Who gave up the other 124 points? They gave up 86 points in the paint. Did Trae Young give up 86 points in the paint? Where were all the other players who were supposed to be big and strong and tall and size and everything, right? So I'm going to get into that a little bit, but I just wanted to prelude that before I even got started. So, by the way, the other night, Brunson was 5 of 18, 1 of 9 from 3 the other night. His team won, so Brunson's really good. His team won. It's like that, right? 5 for 18 is good all of a sudden. 5 for 18. Did you hear what I just said? Jalen Brunson went 5 of 18, 1 of 9 from 3. His game won. That's good, but that's good. That's good. His team won, so that's good, right? As bad is good is bad, right? By the way, Clint looks kind of washed out there. Hunter already missed his first game of the season, right? Kevin's on the bench now. He had an okay game, but we drafted bench players. I mean, I don't know. But again, there's 82 games in the season. Did anybody say anything when the Hawks lost? I mean, one game, won 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2024. Did anybody say, oh man, we won game one? We lose game one. Oh, it's Trae's fault. See, there's people who just saw the score. They didn't even see the box score or anything like that. They just saw the score. Hawks got blown out by 20, and immediately most people's answers was probably, oh, it's Trae's fault. I'm like, okay. But that's why I started doing game reviews 2 years ago, because I got tired of people just saying that and not being able to prove it. Prove that. Let's find out who did what in each game. Because if you just arbitrarily just say one name and exclude and absolve everybody else on the court, that's crazy talk. That's another reason why I went all the way back to the 80s. And each season, I showed everybody, here's what the Atlanta Hawks organization did each year per their roster. And here's what that roster did every season. Here's what Dominique Wilkins did for 12 seasons. Here's what the rest of the team did in the regular season. And here's what they did in the playoffs if they qualify for the playoffs. And you tell me, did the organization do enough? Because here's what Dominique Wilkins did in the playoffs, and here's what the rest of the team did in the playoffs. And I went all the way to 2024. Then I went behind that and I said, well, here's 2018 to 2024. Here's what everybody did on defense as well as offense. And you tell me, did everybody do their jobs well enough for us to win every game? Are you sure about that? It's not about liking one person or another. Did they do their jobs? I mean, no one says anything about the fact that Jalen Johnson, again, this is a fact. Jalen Johnson has played 70 games for the Hawks once in his career so far as a Hawk. That's not even a criticism. That's just a fact. He played 36 games last year and 56 games the year before. How different would the Hawks seasons have been if we had Jalen the entire season? We were fifth last year up to a certain point last year. Right? Am I wrong? Okay. So I just wanted to prelude all of that before I get into this game review. Now, this game review is a mini game review because I'm not using footage. This is the first time I'm doing this, so we're going to see how it works. Usually I would do game footage, but because there's always this little code or microcosm of something that causes one particular episode to be blocked and all the other game reviews not to be blocked, I stopped doing game reviews because I got tired of doing all that work for nothing, basically. Because there's a lot of work to do a full game review using every visible shot in a game on the defensive side, because that's how I do it. So today I'm going to do everything without the video footage, but also I'm not going to break down every possession either like I usually would, since I don't have the game footage. But at the end of this review, I do it a little bit just to kind of give you a taste. So I do suggest you do is go back and look at some of those game reviews over the last 2 years that I've done just to check out what I do. So the Raptors beat the Hawks 138 to 118, game one. The Hawks gave up 86 points in the paint. Let me do this real quick. There we go. The Hawks gave up 86 points in the paint. And again, let's just throw it out there. Trae gave up all 86 points in the paint. Because again, when you say these things and you intimate these things and you hint at these things, you got to go all the way to say it with your chest. Nobody else on the court was responsible for anything on that court that night, right? Just Trae Young. That's where we are now. So we're going to do it. Hawks gave up 19 second chance points. So Trae gave up all of those too, right? Hawks gave up 34 fast break points. So Trae alone was the one who didn't get back on defense every possession, right? Just Trae, right? Not the other four players on the court. Interesting concept, Cotton. Raptors, they shot 24% from three. They only hit 6 the whole night. Now, the top 3 Raptors, Barrett, of course, 25 points on 9 of 12 shooting. Barnes, 9 to 14 for 22 points, and Ingram 7 for 16 for 16 points. Now on the flip side, the Hawks had 56 points in the paint. They had 16 second chance points. They had 11 points in the fast break. Only 11. Okay. They shot 28% from three, and for some reason, again, Snyder just keeps letting them shoot. Don't have no alternatives. Just keep shooting. That's a good thing. We hit 10. So I guess that's the goal. Hit 10 a game, no matter what the percentage is, right? By the way, I do want to say this before I get started, because we're talking about shooting percentages. Jason Kidd shot 40% from the floor for his career. Does anybody diminish, demean, or disrespect Jason Kidd's career because of that? He shot 40%. They look at the results, though, don't they? Allen Iverson, AI, the answer, shot 42% for his career. Does anybody say anything bad about Allen Iverson? He averaged 26 points games, 26 a game for his career. Does anybody say anything about that 42% he shot every game? Anybody tell him to stop shooting the ball? Anybody? He also averaged 6 assists a game for his career. You know, Trae Young's about to pass Allen Iverson in career assists, you know. Know that, right? Just want to throw that out there. So here's what the Hawks did. Zach only played 20 minutes for some reason. I'm gonna talk about coaching in a little bit too. But he played 20 minutes for that game. 7 to 13, 16 points, had 2 boards, 1 block. JJ, his first game back since last year, 7 to 13, 22 points, had 7 boards, 8 assists, still on the block. Porzingis was 5 of 12 for 20 points, had 7 boards, 2 blocks. Dyson, he was in foul trouble, only had 4 shots the whole game, 4 points, had 2 steals. He had 5 fouls, as I mentioned. Trae was 5 of 14 from the floor, had 22 points, had 5 assists. I think he had a couple of steals, I can't remember. NAW, 2 of 15 from the floor. Snyder let him shoot the team out the game because that's what happened. 2 of 15. They kept giving him the ball, and he kept shooting it. Sometimes you as a player should be like, you know what, I'm not hitting. Let me do some other stuff to help my team win. Why am I going to keep shooting the ball? Anyway, Wallace didn't take a shot. Luke was 2 of 7 from the floor, had 6 points. So Congu had a good game, 8 of 12, 18 points, had 6 boards. Mo G wasn't allowed to play either. And I'm like, we really literally played an 8-man rotation that night. I'm not sure why that was. Didn't make any sense. Especially when we had advantages. Why isn't Vic and Mo G playing in this game? Like, that should have been an option. And it wasn't for some reason. And if this is how it's going to be, that worries me a little bit. And that's truthfully, if an 8-man rotation is the move, this is not going to be as successful a season as I think it's going to be. I think I said my prediction was 53 wins, I believe, right? Not like that, though. The whole point of having depth is use the depth. There's times where stuff don't work. Put some other people in. That's what you got to do. That's the job of the coach. That's the coach's one job is to put people in the best position to succeed. That didn't happen that night. And again, why we keep shooting these threes? It's abhorrent. Okay. Also, I feel that the ball was taken out of Trae's hands a little bit. Now, give credit to the Raptors because they had a concerted effort to deny him the ball a lot that night. But at the same time, and yes, JJ is back and we know he can bring the ball up and stuff like that. But a lot of times, the initiation of the offense, it didn't really happen. You see what I'm saying? So I don't like that aspect of what I saw. Again, it's just game one. Everybody getting used to everything and stuff like that and everything. But that does give me pause a little bit too. But again, give credit. A lot of that was just the Raptors not letting Trae get the ball too. Okay. Now, again, one of the things I've been saying for the last 2 years is that we don't have a defensive coach on the bench. There's nobody that says, my job is to make sure these guys are good on defense. Defense is not just effort. Defense is also knowing what to do and when to do it. And the Hawks are horrible at every aspect. Again, I'm going to repeat them. And I talk about this all the time in my game reviews if you go back and listen and watch. I talk about getting back on defense. It's not getting back on defense. It's Getting back on defense. Assigning yourself to a man. If your man beats you, you gotta not point. Pointing is not defense. I talk about this in this game review. Pointing is not defense. JJ, get my man. I got yours. That's defense. Because now you got somebody who can pick up somebody else. Also, stopping the ball on a fast break. The Hawks don't do it. We refuse to do it. We won't do it. So not only will we not get back on defense, we won't stop the ball on a fast break either. That's where most of the issues come. Okay. We don't rotate. We don't know how to switch. We don't know how to play the pick and roll. We won't talk on defense for nothing. We don't know how to block out. These are all fundamentals that our team over the years, we don't do it. I've shown it on game film. So somebody on that coaching staff should be responsible for it. Why don't we have somebody? Because we would see adjustments if we did. Pure and simple. Pure and simple. If we just talked on defense, half the issues would be gone. But we won't do it. Luke, I'll tell that story when I get into that. I don't even want to talk about it right now. So, first thing also I'm going to do now, points left on the floor from shots created by Trae Young. Now, if you know, Trae Young has led the league in potential assists the last 2 seasons. Last year, it was 21 a game. 21 potential assists. 21. That's a lot. That's a lot of missed shots. If you saw my interview with Steve Holman, I mentioned that, and he said it. That's a lot of missed shots, Chris. That's a lot of missed shots. Steve Holman, the voice of the Hawk, who's been doing Hawks radio for 41 years straight now, said, that's a lot of missed shots, Chris. And I'm like, I know. 21 potential assists. Trae Young led the league. So what I started doing last year in my game reviews, I start the review by saying, here's how many points the Hawks left on the floor from missed shots created by Trae Young. So the times Trae Young did get the ball that particular night, people were missing shots again. So here we go. So in the first quarter, he had 2 passes. One went to Porzingis. He missed his shot in the inside. That was 2 points. Zach missed a wide open 3. That was 3 points. That's 5 points right there, first quarter. Second quarter, Dyson misses a 3. NAW misses a 3. That's 6 more points right there. That's second quarter. We go into halftime. Third quarter, Porzingis misses a 3. Zach misses a 3. Luke misses a 3. Zach misses another 3. That's 12 points right there. You don't think those 12 points in the third quarter would have helped the Hawks stay in the game as the Raptors scored 45 points in that third quarter? You don't think that would have helped if we hit 2 of those threes at least? We missed 4 right there. These are passes created from Trae Young I'm talking about right now. And in the fourth quarter, it only had 2 points. Okongwu misses a baby hook or whatever in the paint. 25 total points left on the floor from jumpers or layups created by Trae Young in game 1 of the regular season. The Hawks got beat by 20. So you don't think if we scored all 25 points, we don't win that game? If we score maybe 15 of those points, we don't have a shot to win the game? We left 25 points on the board. And that's just passes from Trae. I'm not even talking about the passes from Jalen that were missed and other people. There's a lot of missed shots in that game from various people. Well, I just told you 25 points. Last year, the Hawks left 16 to 40 points a game on the board from missed shots generated from Trae Young, which led to him leading the league in potential assists again, 21 a game. Now, again, last night, the Raptors did a great job of ball denial on Trae Young. I saw the film. But we missed a lot of shots last night. I mean, that night, too. I keep thinking this is that night. I was going to do this yesterday, and I forgot. So let's get into the game now. Trae was guarding quickly, whatever his name is. Dyson had Barrett. Zach had Ingram. JJ had Barnes. And Porzingis had Polo. That was your matchups for last night. Okay? So Trae Young wasn't guarding Barrett, Ingram, Barnes, or Polo. He wasn't playing the center, power forward, or small forward in the game 1 of the season. Just wanted to make sure y'all knew that before I get started. So, again, this is not a regular review. I'm just going through the shots. Okay, so I'm not going to really do descriptions of each possession. I'm going to just do the shots. Okay, because I'm not doing the video. It takes a long time to do the video. And again, Until I figure out from the NBA what's blocking a particular episode than another, I'm not doing video right now. So first quarter, here's what happened. Bucket. Dyson didn't block out Barrett. Barrett got a layup. 2 points right there. 3 points. JJ left Barrett open on a fast break. He didn't even contest the shot. Barrett walked into a three. JJ let him shoot it. JJ let him shoot it. It wasn't Trae Young. It was Jalen Johnson. 3 points. 2 points. Daniels had a turnover. Trae got back. They threw a pass to Barnes. Trae got pushed to the ground. Barnes lays it up. I didn't know you could do that, but it's all good. I gave that one to Trae. 3 points. Trae let Barrett hit a three. Trae Young was playing off of Barrett. Barrett got the ball, hit the three on Trae. So those three are on Trae Young right there. Then the very next possession, Trae gets beat to the basket by Quickly. So 2 points right there. 2 points, screen. We don't know how to play pick and roll. Ingram hits a jumper over Porzingis. Next possession, Ingram hits another jumper on Porzingis. That's 2 points back to back right there. That's 4 points on Porzingis right there, right? Okongwu, he was pretending to double Ingram, coming up the floor, left Mamu wide open for a three. Okongwu was supposed to be guarding Mamu. He's over here looking at Ingram, who was being guarded by, I believe at the time, JJ, because of a switch. Okongwu just needed to stay with his man. That's another thing about the Hawks. We don't ever stay with our man when we are supposed to be staying with our man, and that's what opens up the door. That's what opens up the floodgates when you're not on your man. Now you created a mismatch because now people are going to duck under you. They're going to get by you. They're going to cut because you're not paying attention what you're supposed to be doing. You're paying attention what's all the way over there where you're supposed to be sticking with your man. Half of our issues as a Hawk squad would be eliminated if you just stayed with your man. I'll get into that a little bit later as well. Another 2 points, JJ, because he didn't match up on a fast break. 3 points, Grady is open because Keaton didn't switch. Another 2 points, Luke gets beat by Shed. Another 2 points, JJ didn't contest Barrett at the basket. Another 2 points, Luke let Barnes get behind him, though he had gotten back on the fast break. Luke was doing this, saying, hey, you get Barnes, JJ. But he didn't say that. He just pointed. He let Barnes go behind him and lay the ball up. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. We don't communicate at all. At the end of the day, Luke was there. He needed to stay with Barnes. You needed to make the other team make another decision. Don't give them an easy two. That's how we gave up 86 points in the paint. It was ridiculous that night. I keep saying last night, but it was 2 nights ago. 2 points. Okongwu allows a layup on Magbo. I guess that's how you pronounce it. That was the first quarter. Now here's the second quarter. Another 2 points. Luke left his man. Like, you know how I talk about Garrison used to just sit in the paint like he's a center, and his man is way over here behind the 3-point line, and Garrison all of a sudden then has to run and throw his hands in the air like he just don't care when he should have been on his man in the first place. Well, that's what Luke was doing again that night. So Luke let Grady just standing over there, and Grady gets the ball and he shoots it and he scores because Luke wasn't on his man. Another 2 points. Barnes backs down Okongwu and gets a hook shot. Next possession. Barnes on another fast break. JJ let Barnes run out. JJ just kind of stood there. Barnes, boom, layup, 2 points. Another 3-pointer. Keaton only played 8 minutes, gave up 2 threes in this game. That's 6 points right there that were unnecessary. Keaton left his man. Shed hit a 3. Another 2 points. JJ falls. He loses the ball. NAW gets back. It's 2-on-1. NAW. I'm giving those 2 to the team because nobody got back. Nobody was there to help. JJ falls. Nobody moves. NAW is back. It's 2-on-1. I gave those 2 points to the team. Another 2 points. Put back by Ingram. Okongwu was there. Didn't prevent it. Another 2 points. Ingram hits another one on Zach this time. Another 2 points. Barnes backs down Okongwu again in the paint, scores. Another 2 points. This is off the pick and roll. JJ switches, but Poto basically is driving to the basket, and he does a Michael Jordan up and under for a layup. Porzingis is back, but doesn't get the block. Another 2 points. On the slowest fast break ever, Porzingis never looks for his man. He doesn't know where Poto is. Poto gets a layup. Another 2 points. Poto again gets another layup on Porzingis. 2 points. I forget who it was. They shot it over Zach. That's the half. We were in the game still, barely. 65-59. That's halftime. Let's go to the third quarter. 2 points. Polo, another layup. You hear the word layup a lot, right? Horace wasn't staying with his man. Porzingis don't know where Polo is. Where is your man? Stay with your man. All this other stuff don't matter. You got people who basically are leaving their man as if something's about to happen. Instead of reacting to something actually happening, we're making stuff happen by mistake, basically. That's what we do. And that could be taught out. That could be coached out of people. And it's not happening. Another 2 points. Barnes drives, pushes JJ out the way, and dunks it. Another 2 points. Barnes. Now, this one, there isn't video, so I don't know who gave it up. So I give that one to the team. But Barnes scored another 2 points. 2 points. Dyson turned it over. Fast break. Barrett gets another dunk. That was on Dyson on that. Another 2 points. Barrett drives, scores on Dyson. Another 2 points. NAW gets the ball knocked away. He also gave up the bucket too quickly on that one. 2 points. Ingram hits a shot on Okongwu. 2 points. Barrett gets a layup on Luke on a fast break. 2 points. Another fast break. Grady gets a layup. Nobody gets back. Trae gets back, but he could have fouled him, I guess. So I give that one to Trae. 2 points. Baji, he gets a putback because nobody blocks out. JJ was the only one in the paint. He was going for the ball, but nobody else was there. I give that one to the team. 2 points. Mamu pump fakes on Porzingis. Drives for a layup. Where am I at here? This is the third quarter, by the way. This is the quarter that they scored all those points, by the way. 2 points. Turnover on Porzingis. Nobody even tries to get back on defense. They literally stop. I give that one to the team. 3 points. Grady gets a 3. There's no video, so I give that one to the team as well. 2 points. Quickly gets by Trae again. Another 2 points. Now, at this point, this is where Bob on the actual game film, Bob Rathman is heard saying Raptors scored 45 points in the third quarter, went to the line 18 times. That's absurd. And again, though, we left 12 points on the board in the third quarter from missed shots generated from Trae Young. That would have offset that a little bit. We still would have been in the game a little bit. We hit all those threes. We missed every single three. We missed every single one of them, though. Fourth quarter. 2 points. Drive to the basket by Barrett on NAW. 2 points. Trae gives up a layup by Shed. Now, these next couple, I'm going to describe a possession like I usually would if I had the video up. Okay. So, what do I talk about in my game reviews as a repeat? I talk about getting back on defense, stopping the ball. Nobody stops the ball in this particular possession. Barnes is coming up on a fast break. Everyone is just watching Barnes. Okay. Barnes then passes to a cutting Abaji, gets a layup. Everybody is just looking at Barnes, but I'm like, but where is your man at? Where's your assignment? We gave up a layup on that fast break. Another fast break. How many points did we give up on fast break? I told you earlier. Go look. Another 2 points. Here's a layup for Barrett because Dyson leaves him open. But really, it's because Okongwu left Mamu. Because he went for a pump fake. Not only did he go for a pump fake, he jumped way in the air and he's going towards half court. So he's out of the picture. On a pump fake now, okay, he jumped half court. So Mamu's able to drive. Dyson turned his back to his man. Guess what? Barrett's wide open. layup. So I actually caught that. Those 2 points I say are on Okongwu because of him losing his man. Another 2 points. Again, we can't play the pick and roll. If a player is actually playing through the screen, he got through the screen, he got through the pick. There's no reason to continue to help. Let that man play defense. Instead, what JJ does, he helps on Dyce's man. You know what happened at that point? Instead of staying in front with Barnes, he helps on Barrett. So Barnes slips, Barrett passes, which means Okongwu has to come up and help, which means Polo gets a layup. I'm giving that to JJ for leaving his man. It wasn't necessary. Dyson got around the screen. Why are you still doubling someone they don't need to be doubled? We do it all the time, though, but we don't know how to switch. We don't know how to play a pick and roll. We don't know assignments. We don't know what we're doing. And there's no adjustment from the bench, which is why I say, why don't we have a defensive coach on that bench to help somebody? Another 2 points quickly goes by Trae again. 2 points quickly gets a layup on Porzingis. 2 points Barnes gets over JJ for a bucket. 2 points Polo gets a dunk. Again, Porzingis doesn't stay with your man. He doesn't stay with him. This was a drive from Shed. You gotta make him hit the shot. Stay with your man. You gotta make him hit the shot. You can't assume, make him hit the shot. You left your man. As soon as you leave your man, that's an open layup. Every single time we do it. Another 2 points by Polo with an alley-oop fast break dunk because nobody but Trae got back. Okay. No, my bad. No, this is there was one where only Trae got back, but not this one. This is where Trae was complaining about a foul that should have been called. Luke, JJ stopped also. They didn't go anywhere. Fast break. 2 points. Magbo got a score on Mo G because he got to play for like a couple of seconds. 2 points. Layup because Luke again left his man. Luke's is leaving his man wide open for another open jumper. And another 2 points. Grady gets a dunk because he beats NAW on a cut to the basket. And that's the game. 138 points. We got beat by 20. So here's the points that everybody gave up in this particular game. Dyson gave up 8 points for the time he was on the court, which wasn't a lot. JJ gave up 15 points in this game. Trae gave up 14 points in this game. Porzingis gave up 16 points in this game. Wallace played 8 minutes. He gave up 6 points in this game. Okongwu gave up 15 points in this game. Luke gave up 10. And again, I gave the team 15 points because of the team and the breakdowns as a team on defense. Zach gave up 4 points in this game. NAW, 6 points. Mo G, 2. That's 111 points. Now, the Raptors also hit 24 free throws in this game. So that's 135 points. So somewhere in there, I missed a three-pointer somewhere. I don't know where it is. I'll go back and look another day. I think that's pretty good for my first review in a long time. But again, the Hawks gave up 86 points in the paint. Not Trae Young. Not one player. One player didn't give up 138 points. I just gave y'all the math of it. 8 points, 15, 14, 16, 8, 15, 10, 15, 4, 6, 2. So I just answered that question from earlier, right? Who gave up the other 124 points in the game? There you go. So how can you blame one player for a loss when all these other players were participatory in that same game? That is my point. That is my whole point when it comes to just sports in general. You can never blame one individualistic player for a win or a loss. You can't do it because there's too many variables. There's too many things that happen on the court. The only time you can really do that is if it's a game winner situation. This is the last shot of the game, the last shot of the year, whatever you want to call it. Michael Jordan won an NBA Finals with a game-winning shot against Utah, right? We can say that, right? Florida State Seminoles, Wyatt Wright, right? Buffalo Bills, Wyatt Wright. You could blame the field goal kicker for losing a Super Bowl because he misses a kick, or a national championship game because he misses a kick, right? For that one moment. You can say that, right? But for the whole entirety rest of the game, well, what the other players do to put them in a position where that field goal had to matter, right? One player can't always be that player that you can blame for something negative. But to only talk about the negative and not talk about the positive ever, that's flawed. And that's my point. You see what I'm saying? JJ gave up 15 points in this game. He had a lot of uncontested shots in this game, guys. We have the game footage. You can watch this watch this video and go to NBA.com and click on play by play yourself, and you can go through each possession as I just talked about, and you can see it for yourself. You don't gotta listen to me, you don't gotta believe nothing I say. But if you go through all my other game reviews, I show you this is how we lost this game. Not what you think is what you can prove, right? And so for all the people who just keep saying stuff out loud and don't prove it, I'm like, well, what are we really talking about? You can't have a real discussion. Show me how one person lost this particular game. Trae had 22 points in the game. He had 5 assists. Should have had like 13. But again, let me count that. I didn't get a chance to count that earlier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Trae would have had 15 assists if we had hit all those shots. Instead, he ended up with 5. People miss shots. So Trae Young is the reason that these players miss their own shots. These are professional basketball players. Trae Young is supposed to be responsible for people hitting their shots too after he passes them the ball. You see how ludicrous and idiotic that sounds when you say it out loud? We missed 4 threes in the third quarter. One player missed 2 of those threes. None of those players have any fault at all in that loss at all. 25 points were left on the board. We lost by 20. You don't think 25 points would have made a difference in a 20-point loss? You're sure about that? You see what I'm saying? That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. But again, Jalen Brunson in his first game of the season went 5 of 19 from the floor, but he's praised somehow. 5 of 18. 1 from 9 from 3. 1 of 9 is good all of a sudden? Again, that's an interesting concept, y'all. So again, when you talk about players and you talk about what they bring to the table each night, and you don't want to criticize someone who averaged 10 points a game for the team over their career, or 12 points a game, or 3.5 assists for their career, but you go after the 25 and 10 guy, you see what I'm saying? That's just a little weird. Just a little bit weird. It's kind of funky. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't make logical sense. When we gave up 86 points in the paint, and the smallest guy on the court is supposed to be responsible for all 86 points in the paint. What about Porzingis? What about Zach? What about JJ? What about all those guys? We're supposed to have size now, right? Well, what happened to it? I told you what happened to it. We left people open. We weren't on our guys. We're looking over here when we should be looking over here. We should know where our man is, and we don't. We didn't block out. Like, this is simple stuff. We weren't blocking out. I saw the film. I just showed you. I told you what happened. I didn't show it to you because, like I said, I told you why earlier. Hopefully, I'll start doing full game reviews again soon. But I described to you what happened. Okay? But you can go to NBA.com, click on play by play. You can see it for yourself, possession for possession, just as I described it, and you'll see it for yourself. You don't got to believe me. You can go look for yourself. And you should. You should want to know what actually happened rather than what people just say happened. Because if you didn't see the game and you saw the score and you hear someone say, oh, it was Trae's fault, you can make that assumption until you actually watch the game. And that's why I started doing game reviews, because I was like, well, let's find out if it's actually Trae's fault then. Every loss since 2018, let's find out. We don't even going to check all the wins. We're not going to see Trae leading the league in fourth quarter scoring. We're not going to do that. No, we don't want to see that, right? Led the league in assists the last 3 or 4 years, right? We don't care about that. We don't care about all this. He's third in NBA history in assists per game, 12th all time in points per game. I don't care about that. Again, Allen Iverson shot 42% for his career. Jason Kidd, 40% for his career. They're Hall of Famers. Trae's averaging 25 and 10. The only point guard to do that. Remember, there's only a handful of players who can say they're 25 or 10 in any category. Bob Pettit, Karl Malone, Wilt Chamberlain, Joel Embiid, and Elgin Baylor. That's the list. And those are 25 and 10 in the rebound category. Trae Young is the only 6-foot person on earth who can say in the NBA's history is 25 and 10. And remember, 4,900 players ever have played in the NBA. Nobody cares about that, but nobody said nothing about Mike Bibby scoring 10 points a game for his career as a Hawk, or Jeff Teague averaging 12, 13 points as a Hawk, 4 or 5 assists. Nobody gets mad at them, and they don't have championships because that's always the go-to. Oh, well, Trae, his accomplishments don't mean nothing because he ain't won a championship. No Hawk has ever won a championship. Dominique has a statue. Why don't y'all tear the statue down? What are we talking about? That's not even apples and oranges at this point. Again, you should be mad at the organization that for 12 seasons they didn't give Nick any help. For those seasons, Smitty and Mutombo and Mookie played together, they didn't get enough help. For the 60-win team that got swept in the Eastern Conference Finals and then swept out the playoffs again, the very next year by the same team, they didn't get enough help. And then in Trae Young's third season in the NBA, he takes a team to the Eastern Conference Finals. And let me pull that up in real time. Because I just got to do it. Since I've done episodes on this. You can go back on around the ATL and, check it out yourself. But let me just go ahead and do this real quick. Because y'all just you need to hear this stuff out loud sometimes. Because if you don't, it doesn't make sense until you actually hear it. Here's what the Atlanta Hawks did after the Hawks were 2 wins away from going to the finals. You just had to win 2 games, and you're in the NBA Finals. Here's what the Atlanta Hawks did the very next season. Here's who we got. Cat Barber, Chauncey Brown Jr., Gorgie James, Malcolm Hill, Wesley Windu, Kevin Knox, TLC, Cameron Oliver, Lance Make You Dance, Brown Liquor, Stevenson. That's what we did. That's what the Hawks organization did. And out of all those players, here's who made the playoff roster. Kevin Knox, Gorgie James, TLC. TLC scored 1.3 points a game in that playoff series against Miami. Now, Kevin Knox, he actually had 11, so you give him some credit, I guess, for the 2 games he played, for the 4.5 minutes that he played, and the couple of shots that he hit, which were actually threes. So I guess, really though? Because here's what everybody did in that series. Trae had 15, Hunter had 21, Kevin had 9, DeLon Wright had 8, Bogey had 14, John had 9, Gallo had 10, Okongwu had 5, Clint only played 2 games. But we know that particular series, all these players were hurt. Our core players were hurt except for Kevin Huerter, and he could only give us 9 points a game. The only one who stepped up as Coach Spo made sure Trae Young didn't have another 29 and 10 playoff series. That's what Trae did in his first playoff series ever, averaged 29 and 10. Coach Spo said, I'm not going to let Trae do that when I know all these other players are hurt. I'm going to dare some of the Hawks step up. Hunter was the only one who did. He shot 55% from the floor, 46% from 3. He averaged 21 a game in that Miami series, as Trae was getting quadruple team, basically. Kevin Huerter shot 29% from 3. That's good. Gallo shot 26% from 3. That's good. Really? Y'all sure about that? That's what they did. Clint had 2 points a game in that series. That's good. John did what he could. He shouldn't have even been playing. He averaged 9 points a game. Shouldn't have been playing, but he was in there. Bogey didn't play game 5, if you remember, right? But that's what we got. TLC, 1.3 points a game. Gorgia Jane, 1.5. That contributed. That was contribution, right? And then the very next year, the Hawks go, he has 29 and 10 again against the Boston Celtics. And all we needed was somebody to slow down either Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, and we couldn't do it. Both those guys averaged 29 points a game together. Both of them, each. Trae Young was supposed to average 29 and 10 and stop Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. That was his job. When we had a wing defender and we had DJ on the team, where were they at? No one says nothing. You just shrug your shoulders, be like, oh, well, it don't matter. Trae Young was averaging 29 and 10. Another game winner in the playoffs. And y'all can't figure out whose job it is to stop Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. You got to stop one of them. If you're going to try to win against them, we should have beat the Boston Celtics. I say that to this day. We should have beat them. Trae did everything in his power to do it. Here we go. I just have to do this since I got a little bit of time. I'm going to do this real quick. This is what Trae Young did against the Boston Celtics. Okay. Now, we lost game 1, if you remember, 112 to 99. So that wasn't the greatest game in the world. I think Trae had 16 and 8 in that game. DJ did his job, 24 points, right? But here's what we did in game 2, which we also lost. Remember, we lost the first 2 games of that series, right? Trae had 24. DJ did, again, his job, 29, right? Then game 3, we win game 3 by 8. I think Trae, where's the Hawks stuff? 32 and 9. Game 3. Game 4. We lost that game by 8. We're not even losing these games by a lot, guys, but we're losing them. Trae had 35 and 15. We lost that game. 35 and 15. 35 and 15. Now, Hunter had a great game in that one, 27. DJ again did his job, 23. And then nothing else. Clint gave us 10. John gave us 5. He had his worst game ever, basically. Sadiq Bey, 5. Bogey, 8. Bogey was 3 of 8 in that game. We didn't get any help, guys. And nobody was stopping Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, who was averaging 29 a game apiece. Game 5. Again, DJ was suspended, if you remember. Trae hits the game winner. Trae in that game, 38 and 13. So y'all mean to tell me Trae's doing everything in his power, but Trae is the issue here. Hunter in that game was 5 and 11. He had 13 points in that game. Bogey did have 18. John had 22. But then Clint gave us 4. That's good. Kongu 9, Sadiq Bey 12, Jalen Johnson 3. That was it. That's all we got. And in game 5, our elimination game, which we only lost by 8 points. We lost by 8 points. Jason Tatum had 30. Jaylen Brown had 32. Trae Young had 30 and 10. Hunter had 20. DJ had 14. He was 5 of 13 in that game. John had 16. He's 6 for 8. Clint had 10 again. Sadiq Bey, 7 off the bench. Bogey had 12. Okongwu had 6. Jalen Johnson had 5 because they weren't letting him play no ball. That was it. That was the series. So you mean to tell me y'all sure about this now? Good. You have to hear this stuff in living color. Jason Tatum had 30. Jaylen Brown had 32. You mean to tell me in a game we lost by 8, if we don't stop one of those 2 players, we don't win game 5? You can convince me of that. Because I don't think you can. We should have beat the Boston Celtics round 1 of that series. We had them. They weren't stopping Trae Young. I just told you what Trae just did. All we needed was somebody to stop Jaylen Brown, the person who's supposed to be our best defender, right? Who's never led his own team in any defensive category, never first or second team on defense, and never a defensive player of the year, but he's supposed to be our best defender. and couldn't stop one of those two players. Anyway, guys, I'm about to get out of here. I was only going to be on here for an hour or so. But again, hopefully I get to do a game review with full video. But if you've never watched one of my reviews, I urge you, suggest you go back on Around the ATL. You've been seeing it scroll right there. And go back to see some of my game reviews over the last 2 seasons. You'll see possession for possession how teams actually scored against us rather than what you thought. Because that matters. It really does. Okay? Because when you see that for yourself and you're like, oh, wait a minute, I had an impression that this was happening, but now I see, hey, he's not giving up all the points. He's not. Trae Young is not giving up all the points each night. It's impossible for one player to give up all the points anyway. But if Trae is so bad, why isn't he giving up 25, 30 points a game each night? Because he just isn't. We can prove it. You see what I'm saying? The facts matter. Logic matters. Everybody has a job. Everybody has a secondary job, and everybody has a third job on the court. Whatever your job is, you need to be able to do that job really well, proficiently, right? If you're a rebounder, we need you to get every rebound. If you're a shot blocker, we need you to block every shot. If you're a steal guy, we need you to get every steal and deflection. If you take charges, Trae Young led the team in charges one season and was second another season. Did you know that? Trae Young. Remember, I did a whole episode, basically, breakdown of plus minus, player over replacement, defensive rating, rebounding, block shot, all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, well, how come Trae Young isn't at the very bottom of all this all the time? Because he isn't. How come certain players have the exact same defensive rating as Trae Young, but y'all praise them, but not Trae? How is that possible? You see the logic there? If Hunter and Trae Young have the exact same defensive rating, what are we talking about? Because that's true. You see what I'm saying? For a couple of years. Right at the bottom. Not the top, right at the bottom. Our best defender has the worst defensive rating? What are we talking about? See, until you hear it and see it for yourself, instead of listening to the chitter chatter, right, out on the internet, you start thinking about things a little bit differently when you're talking about the legacy of a player and how you diminish, demean, and disrespect somebody when he's one of the best players in NBA history right now. After this season, Trae Young is going to be 50th all time in assists. 50 out of 4,900 people who've ever played since the beginning of the NBA. Trae Young is going to be 50 all time. Or 49, give or take. It depends if he passes Larry Bird or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, because that's who he's about to pass. Michael Jordan is in there too. If Joker retired right now, he'd be about to pass the Joker in assists all time. That's how good Trae Young has been at passing the ball. He's going to pass all of these people. He's going to pass all these NBA legends, Hall of Famers, those who have won championships and those who haven't. Remember, it took Steve Nash 8 seasons to average double digits in assists. He won an MVP averaging 18 and 11. Trae is averaging 25 and 10, and he can't get no consideration. Okay. So I just got a text. I got to go. Remember, Trae Young literally is averaging 25 and 10. The only reason he's not getting is because of what the organization has chosen to do for 7 seasons, rather than build a team around its best player. Just like I said with Steve Holman, the organization has more of a burden of proof than Trae Young ever will have. We've seen all these other good players on teams get people put around them. The Hawks organization is the only organization who wants to do stuff out of the box and say, we got Dominique Wilkins. We should be putting the best players around Dominique Wilkins. Nah, we ain't going to do that. We just going to let him struggle there in Atlanta against all these legacy Hall of Famers with Boston and Detroit and the Bulls and stuff. We're not, ISO Joe in the game, Josh Smith. We could put better players around them and let them compete. Look what look at what they're doing with scraps. What if we actually put some better players? Nah, we'll just be a little bit exciting and Al Horford and Jeff Teague time, right? We watched Jeff Teague score 30 points in game one in the Eastern Conference Finals, then score 12 points, right? Right? We saw that. We seen it. We saw Paul Millsap go 5 for 13 in game four, and Al Horford scored 2 points in game four. We got eliminated. And the Hawks organization said, we're not going to put no better players around everybody here to get them over the hump and get us back to the Eastern Conference Finals. Nope, we got eliminated in round one the next year by Cleveland. And again, we saw the Atlanta Hawks come within 2 wins of going to the NBA Finals. And the very next season, we said, nah, let's just put Weston Windu out there and some TLC, even though he plays 30 minutes and gets you 2 points. Yeah, that's going to be that's the ticket. Lance Stevenson is going to bring us a championship. All right, I do got to go. All right, guys. Make sure you look at the past reviews that does have the video. Again, it takes a long time to put video together to mesh up with the actual review of the game. And only because I don't want to go through all of that and then YouTube say, you can't use it or whatever. It takes too long. So I decided to do a game review for the first time without actual game footage. Hopefully you enjoyed it. But definitely go back through some of my old I've been doing video game reviews for the last 2 seasons, so go back and look at those so you can get the full tilt of those or whatnot. And I'll try to do these periodically after games as much as I can. But again, Trae Young didn't give up 86 points in the paint. He didn't. Is this it? No, that's the interview with Steve. Oh, make sure you watch the Steve Holman interview too. I think you really will enjoy that. Um, I had fun anyway. But go check that out with Steve Holman. Steve Holman has been doing. This is his 41st season doing Hawks basketball, by the way, consecutive, which is really cool. So go check that out. How come I can't find? Oh, there it is, right there. It was a snake with a bit. Um, Trae Young didn't give up 86 points in the paint. He didn't give up 19 second chance points. He didn't give up 34 fast break points. Trae Young didn't do that. The Atlanta Hawks did that. And I showed you how this morning. I showed you possession for possession, bucket for bucket, who gave up what. And Trae Young gave up 14 points in this game. He didn't give up 30. He didn't give up 65. He didn't give up 86. He gave up 14 points in this game. There were other people who gave up points in this game. Everybody is at fault. Nobody should be absolved. And what some people have decided to do since 2018 is absolve every NBA player that's been on the Hawks roster and just say it's Trae's fault when Trae's been the best player every season. He's delivered every season. Every season he's delivered. Nobody, every season. And he's been on the court more than others too. It's just a fact. You see what I'm saying? That all that stuff matters when you try to win a championship. Availability matters when you try to win a championship. That's just a fact. It's not a critique. It's just facts. We needed Jalen Johnson last year. We couldn't have him. He was hurt. Can't do nothing about that. He only played 36 games. What if he had played 60 games last year? What would our record have been? Think about that. Year before that, he played 56. Right? How much different that season would have been if we had had him the entire season. Right? What are the 5 things you need to win on a regular basis? You need to have an owner that actually wants to win and proves it by doing what's necessary. You have to have a general manager who actually knows what they're doing for a long period of time, not just once in a while. You have to have a good to great coach. You need to have good to great players. And then you have to be healthy. How many seasons in Hawks history has health decimated the entire season? How many? Right? We've had good to great players all through Hawks history. We know that. But putting it all together, there's some franchises that are great at doing it, and there are some that are not. And the Hawks have been one, are not, unfortunately. That's what it's been. And you're going to make the whole season go away because of a bad loss? That was a bad loss. Nobody's not saying that wasn't a bad loss. 20-point loss at home is bad. But it's not the entire season. There's 81 more games to go. Now, if we lose the first 15 games of the season, okay, now we got a problem. Houston, we got a problem, right? Y'all really think we're going to lose 15 in a row? I don't think so. A lot of this stuff can get cleaned up real quick. Again, I wish we had a defensive coach to help with that. Again, defense is half effort and half knowing what you're doing. I just want us to know what we're doing a little bit better than we do. Pick and rolls, screens, talking on defense, stopping the ball on fast breaks, knowing where your assignments are. Just those little things right there will help us out a lot. Because every night we're not going to hit shots. The nights we do, cool, but we don't need to be trying to outscore people. But we do need to hit shots. Again, we left 25 points on the board that night from missed shots just from Trae. Trae could have had 15 assists. He ended up with 5. Because a missed shot. That's a lot of. Don't y'all agree that's a lot of shots? Let me just ask you that real quick before I go. Don't y'all think that's a lot of shots to be missing in a game you lost by 20? 12 points alone in the third quarter, all threes. Trae passes you the ball, you're wide open for 3, miss. Trae passes you the ball again, wide open 3, you miss. Trae passes you the ball again, wide open 3, miss. Trae passes you the ball again, wide open 3, miss. That's 12 points. That's a chunk of points right there in one quarter, don't you think? And Trae keeps passing it to you. and there's the thing. It's a matter of that's what's been not going on through the years is can we just get better players eventually? Now, again, that's one bad night. I'm not again, Dyson was in foul trouble, is what it is, all that kind of stuff. Porzingis didn't have the greatest night in the world, right? Offense and defense. Again, Porzingis gave up 16 points in this game. He actually led the team in points given up in this game. Porzingis, our big. And most of it was just he wasn't with his man. He just left his man open. Just layups, dunks. Will that happen a second night in a row? I doubt it. Because hopefully someone actually does show them the film and be like, all this stuff is fixable, guys. All this stuff is fixable. All this stuff is fixable. Trae, don't let your man blow by you no more. JJ, can you stay with your man, sir? What are you doing? Right? Keaton, can you stay with your man? You were only playing for 8 minutes, sir. You gave up 2 threes. The Raptors only hit 6 threes. Keaton gave up 2 of them. JJ gave up 1. Trae gave up 1. Okongwu gave up 1. I gave 1 to the team. 1, 2, 3. Oh, actually, Trae gave up 2 threes. My bad. Trae gave up 2 threes. Keaton and Trae Young gave up 4 of the 6 threes that they hit. Crazy, right? Anyway, let me get out of here. I gotta respond to this email. I gotta get ready to work. Again, make sure you follow the IMTN Worldwide Radio page to watch more around the ATL. I will be trying to do a little bit more as we go. Definitely go look at the Steve Holman interview from earlier this week. Again, Steve Holman, Hall of Fame broadcaster for the Atlanta Hawks. He's been doing it for 41 straight years. This is his 41st straight year doing Hawks games. He's right behind Chick Hearn, the legendary broadcaster in games consecutives. So definitely check that interview out. Check out interviews in the past with Steve and Bob Rathman, who does the Hawks games on TV with Neek. You can go listen to the Dominique Wilkins interview, John Collins, a whole bunch of people I've had as far as interviews go. But if you like Hawks talk in a way that makes sense and you're just not saying stuff for clicks, I don't do that. I'm giving you the goods and the bads and the even kill methodology of Atlanta Hawks basketball in a fun way, in an educational way. History means something. Hawks legacy is Hawks legacy. We've had some great teams in Hawks history, if you're a Hawks fan. Otherwise, you just think everybody's a loser. Again, I don't know where that comes from. But again, hatred and criticism are two different things. If you hate Trae Young, you should loathe Dominique Wilkins. Tear the statue down. Why is his name in the banners? He doesn't win a championship for the Hawks. His accomplishments mean nothing. Right? That's what you have to say. His slam dunk championships don't mean nothing. You got to say it. Why don't you say it? Say it, right? Why do people like Kyle Korver? He didn't win a championship. Why do people like Elton Brand? He didn't win a championship in Atlanta. Did he? Did he win a mysterious championship I didn't hear about? Because the moment you say Trae Young don't matter because he didn't win a championship by himself, apparently, right? With all the rosters that he's been on so far, right? Why don't you say the same thing about Jeff Teague? Did he win the Hawks a championship? He got to the Eastern Conference Finals. His teams got swept, though. At least Trae's teams didn't get swept. Right? Heck, Michael Jordan got swept twice in the playoffs. I told y'all about that. There's an episode on Around the ATL. I gave you a full breakdown of Michael Jordan from the beginning of his career till 1990 and showed you how the rosters of the Bulls changed year by year and how the team got better year by year. I gave you an example of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander as well with the Clippers. With OKC. That team continually got better year after year until they won a championship because they kept putting people around them and the people they picked kept getting better too. Those two things have to happen. And the Hawks have done a horrible job of doing that over the decades. They've done a horrible job of that. And for the first time, it looks like they have a symbolic effort to say, we're going to try to win now consistently by putting better players around Trae Young. It didn't work game one. Might work game two, though. And then the rest of the season. Let's see what happens. That was the first time those guys played together in a real game where their score actually mattered on the docket. Because now we're 0-1, right? But what if after tonight we're 1-1? Are people going to be the same people who hate Trae Young and love the fact that the Hawks got blown out game one? Are they going to say anything different if we beat Orlando tonight in Orlando? Think about that. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a good one. I got to get to work. Again, enjoy Around the ATL. Enjoy the Atlanta Hawks regular season this year. I will be catching up on Falcons talk real soon because on Around the ATL, we talk everything Atlanta, Dream, Atlanta United, Atlanta Vibe, the volleyball team, college sports, UJ. I'm going to catch up on all that real soon, but right now I'm concentrating on the Hawks because I'm behind. So that being said, I'm going to get out of here if I can figure out how to get out of here. Y'all take care. Peace.
Dribble, pass, throw, catch, hit, slide, grab, respect.